Most people work hard to make money, yet by the end of the month, it feels like nothing's left. Worse, many spend everything, even when they earn well. Money comes in, spins around and disappears like there's an invisible hole in their pocket that prevents them from building wealth. Meanwhile, a small group does things differently. A tiny percentage, the so-called 1%, follows a simple, almost quiet logic that helps them maintain control, clarity, and freedom. They live by a golden rule. 3 numbers that shape how they spend, invest, and grow. The 70-20-10 rule. In this video, you will learn how this rule works and why it connects with Stoic philosophy, which teaches us to live with clarity, balance, and autonomy. If you want to truly understand it, stay with us until the end. Let's begin with what matters most. Part 1. 70% for essentials. Most people live on everything they earn. Some even go beyond that, relying on credit, loans, and debt to support a lifestyle they can't actually afford. This creates a cycle of stress, anxiety, and dependency. They work just to keep the bills paid, no breathing room, nothing left over. When you live like that, any surprise turns into a crisis. Losing a job, a medical emergency, a drop in income, it all becomes an immediate threat. There's no space between what comes in and what goes out. And that exact space is what financially free people build. They choose to live on 70% of what they make. Not because they're forced to, but because they've understood the value of having a margin. The Stoics always promoted the idea of living with less than you desire. Epictetus said, "The more things you need, the poorer you are." True freedom doesn't come from accumulating more, but from needing less. Spending less isn't just a financial choice, it's a form of inner control. To the Stoics, there's no virtue in giving in to every passing desire. The virtue lies in recognizing what's essential and letting go of what's not. Living on 70% is, in practice, a way to train that clarity. It's learning to spot the excess. It's resisting the urge to have everything all the time, right now. A simple, practical step is to map out all your monthly expenses and sort them into 3 categories: essential, useful, and vanity. Then, eliminate or cut back on the 3rd category and use that space to start applying the structure. At first, it might feel tight, but over time, it becomes your new normal. The first step to mastering money isn't investing or earning more. It's learning to spend with balance and intention, and once that becomes part of who you are, the rest of the journey gets a whole lot easier. Part 2. 20% to live with joy and intention. A lot of people, when trying to fix their finances, go to a dangerous extreme. They cut everything that's not essential and start treating money like a punishment. Fun, comfort, experiences, it all becomes unnecessary spending. But living like that leads to frustration, a scarcity mindset, and even future self-sabotage. Financially conscious people don't live in denial. They know that joy and well-being are part of a good life, as long as they're intentional. That's why they set aside 20% of their income for things that aren't basic, but are valuable: travel, gifts, hobbies, dining out, little luxuries. These expenses aren't random, they're intentional. The Stoics didn't condemn pleasure, they just taught that it should be guided by reason. Seneca said, "Nothing is enough for the person to whom enough is too little." The difference between empowering pleasure and weakening pleasure is the reason behind the choice. To a Stoic, living well doesn't mean denying everything. It means knowing how to enjoy without losing control. Spending 20% of your income consciously is an act of moderation. It's allowing yourself joy without letting it take the wheel. Practically speaking, it's best to plan these expenses just like you plan your fixed bills. Maybe it's a special dinner once a month, a subscription to something you love, or a trip every 6 months. When pleasure is planned, it stops feeling like guilt and becomes a celebration. This portion isn't just for relaxing, it's for staying consistent. The financial journey gets lighter when you realize that living well isn't just about paying bills, it's about living with balance. And in Stoicism, balance is a form of wisdom. Part 3. 10% to invest in yourself. One of the biggest silent mistakes people make is spending everything they have on the outside world and nothing on their inner world. Clothes, phones, comfort, status. All of that gets attention, but self-awareness, learning, and personal growth almost always get pushed aside, and that later usually never comes. People who build real freedom understand that the greatest asset is the mind. That's why many dedicate a part of their income each month to evolve: courses, books, coaching, networking, languages, therapy, passive income. They know money invested in yourself doesn't disappear. It turns into better decisions, bigger opportunities, and long-term confidence. Epictetus said, "Only the educated are free." In Stoic philosophy, learning isn't optional, it's a moral duty. It's through knowledge that we get closer to virtue, and through virtue that we reach true freedom. That's why personal growth shouldn't be left for when it's possible. It should be in your budget as a priority. Investing in yourself is the opposite of willful ignorance. It's owning the fact that you don't know everything and that there's always room to grow. The Stoics didn't seek knowledge to show off, but to act wisely. And that applies to every part of life, including money. In practice, set aside 10% of your monthly income for personal growth. It could be a book, an online course, a private lesson, or a conversation with someone more experienced. If possible, automate it. Make learning a habit, not an exception. Even small amounts over time create a powerful growth curve. Those who invest in themselves build a solid foundation for everything that comes next. The ones who thrive know that. The Stoics knew it too. And if you combine that awareness with real action, you'll be building a kind of wealth no market can take from you. Before we wrap up, it's important to remember, this structure isn't rigid. It's not meant to fit every reality perfectly, and it doesn't have to be followed with mathematical precision. Maybe right now you need 80% of your income just to cover the basics. Maybe you can only save 5%. And that's okay. The point isn't the exact number, it's the direction. It's about building a new habit, deciding with intention how you allocate what you earn. The Stoics didn't chase perfection, but progress. Seneca said, "It's not because things are difficult that we don't dare. It's because we don't dare that they are difficult." Just starting, even with small steps, is already a form of freedom. You can tweak the percentages, adjust them to your reality, and keep moving forward. What matters most is developing the awareness that money shouldn't control you, it should serve your purpose. That's the true value of this approach. It represents clarity, balance, and autonomy. And those three words are exactly what the Stoics always pursued in their daily decisions. Truly, free people don't manage money out of obsession. They do it because they've realized something most others miss. Freedom isn't about how much you have, but how you choose to use it. Distributing your income wisely isn't just a technique, it's a lifestyle. Living with balance, enjoying with intention, and growing with consistency. It's applying every month the same mindset the Stoics lived by every day, acting with wisdom, moderation, and purpose. What about you? Had you heard of the 70-20-10 rule before? Leave a comment below and tell us how you plan to apply these percentages in your own life. We are always open to meaningful reflections. If this video gave you something new to think about, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a new perspective on money. That way, you'll help more content on Stoicism and finance reach you first. And remember, true wealth is making good use of what you have. Stay on the path to prosperity. Until we meet again.